Hello, so welcome. This is my first proper review of any sort of car, RC car, or review of anything, to be honest. I've had a WR8 now for a few years, and then when I found out about the CEN Racing, I got quite excited, and there was a few things I wanted to know the difference and comparison. So I haven't bought this isn't mine. I've borrowed this one off of a friend of mine, and he's kindly lent it to me to do a little bit of work on it, to customise it for him, but also for me to do like a workbench tabletop review comparison. So there won't be no driving or speed runs or hooning about. It is literally just tabletop reviews on them. So let's try and get things started with the few questions that I had to start with. So yeah, obviously this is the CEN Racing M Sport Puma. Nothing really to say much about the body. It's just, where are we, Lexan printed with the stickers, the decals on it. You've got plastic mirrors with some shiny mirror. Oh, the lighting's terrible, I do apologise guys. There is a plastic scoop that isn't really a scoop. That would have been good if it went all the way through, just for a bit extra scaleism. And the plastic wing, which is really nice. That's actually quite solid. Obviously being Red Bull, it says up there Red Bull gives you wings. So, oh, wrong way around. If I knock the camera, I do apologise. So the first question I wanted to know is, will the CEN body fit the WR8? Let's bring that forwards. Need a bigger table. Are we in frame? Yes we are. So to make it fit, you'd need to put some more body hole, like holes for the body posts, which is a bit of a given on most cars. The wheelbase is almost the same. It's quite close on the inside edges, and you've got a bit of a gap more on the front and the rear. So if I equal out the front, it's almost there. I can't put the body down no further because of the body posts, but we're almost, if I compress the suspension, we're pretty much there. From what I remember when I had a quick look over, the track width on the WR8 is about 10mm less than the CEN Racing. So the WR8 wheels will sit inside the arches quite nicely. I'll get to that point a little bit later if I remember. But yeah, for the body swap, a couple of extra holes for the body posts, and that should fit on there really nicely. Obviously for the other way round, to put the WR8 or the Ken Block Fiesta onto the CEN, the bumper on the CEN sticks out the front just a little bit more, so you'd need to trim off the foam, the high density foam, and the diffuser kind of gets in the way, so you'd need to cut some of this out the back, which I don't think many people would be willing to do if they've got the Ken Block Fiesta. Because the track width is a little bit wider, the wheels do hit the arches when compressed. Wheelbase, well, right there, is absolutely fine. There's no issue with the wheelbase whatsoever. And yeah, the diffuser, you'd need to cut a little bit of body out for the rear diffuser. It's just sitting a bit proud on top there. I mean, there's almost a perfect line there where you've got the sticker for the EcoBoost sticker. But other than that, it will fit and it would do the job. So the bodies are interchangeable with minor trimming and modification here and there. So into the comparison. I'm going to try and adjust my bipod on the fly. So if it all goes wrong, like I say, I do apologise. Hopefully the GoPro won't fall off. It's really not working, is it? So let's line the rear wheels up so it's easier to show you guys the front. So the wheelbase is pretty much the same. I believe the WR8 is about 5mm longer. But then like I say, I've had this, I've raced it, I've done a few mods. I think, yeah, if you could grind the arm down here with a file or a Dremel so that the arms will slide back about 5mm, and then put some shims or washers on the hinge pin at the front of the arm. You can do that on the rear as well if need be. I'm not going to go into detail about the WR8. They've been around for a good few years. There's enough videos out there doing in-depth or more in-depth reviews than myself. Just know that, like I say, I've had this a couple of years and it's probably my favourite car, if not second favourite car. It's all set up for me in terms of shock oils, front rear diff and centre diff, and camber and toe with, I've put the turnbuckles on. So like I say, it's mine, it's my beast, it's my racer. All the electrics are changed out and a few other mods that I've done to it, but this is more about a comparison. So the WR8, like I say, is about 5mm longer. But if I bring the camera back down, attempt to bring the camera back down, can we see there? Just about on the camera. The wheels out obviously level, but then here you can see you've got a 10mm track difference. The CEN is 10mm wider, 5mm on each side. The reason for that, I took the wheels off last night and had a look. The hexes, the wheel hex, they are 10mm wide. So if you were to swap them out for 5mm, then you'd have the same track width. It'd be the same width as the WR8. So that's something that could be done if needed, if you were going to run HPI body on this. Where else are we on here? The suspension out the box, this is stock, nothing's been swapped out. It feels a lot harder, especially in the front. I'm not a big fan of the springs. They feel a bit too bouncy. Maybe thicker oil would help that. But again, it's just not. The way the shocks are on this, they work, but it's not my cup of tea. It's not the way I would have them if I were going to race this bad boy. And where are we inside? Battery tray. I might have to get an extra light from somewhere. You've got two Velcro straps, or hook and loop straps. One across the centre and then one down the length. You've got a decent sized battery tray there for a 3-cell. I've got one I prepared earlier. This is just a standard sort of size 5200 milliamp hard case 3-cell. When that's in there, there's a little bit of play, but by the time the Velcro goes down the length, you'd be laughing. You've got nothing to worry about. That will hold it nice and safe. No, not going anywhere. Electrics. So on the box it says it's a Savox servo. I have had a look and it is a Savox. It's not one of the higher end ones, just be warned, it is one of the cheaper, slower Savox, but it isn't a noisy one. It's quite quiet in there, which is nice. Anyone that's used some of the Savox know that they can be quite noisy and chattery. ESC is a hobby wing. The hobby wing program cards, LCD and LED cards work. You've also got the set button on the switch, so anyone that's used a hobby wing will know these inside and out. And yes, the fan is noisy, typical hobby wing. Cheers. The motor, I believe, is just a standard CEN brushless motor, 3000 kV, whereas the WR8 is out the box, they're 4000 kV, so longer legs on the WR8. On the rear, the pre-production ones, they didn't have this brace here, this bumper. Anyone that's interested or looked into the CEN would have seen that one of the main problems is the back of the body folds up and gets snagged on the wheels. You have to cut loads away and it just ruins it. So CEN now start adding these to them for the production models, for the sale models. It is adjustable. I don't know if you can see, there's a bit of light there. The same way that the bumpers on any crawler is set, so you've got the and body posts, to be fair. However, they've made them full length and they've not cut, so that is pushed in as far as possible, but yet the body sits tight up against it. I know somebody else that's got one and they have trimmed all of this, trimmed some of them down so it goes in further. That way he can put extra foam on just to give it more cushioning. That may be something worth thinking about. Front bumper, nothing to write home about, just a standard HD foam with the support on the top. Then your body posts are coming up there. They are a bit flimsy, so a hard impact they will bend and probably or possibly snap. The same on the rear, just because they're longer, they're a bit more wafty. Down the centre, internally, you've got the drive shaft. That's a nice, thick drive shaft. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. It's a shame they didn't put a plastic cover over that, because you got a lot of strapping and a lot of electrics that can get tangled up in here. And where you've got the dog bone that goes into it, you have got some sharp edges that are going to be spinning relatively fast, so keep your fingers away if you're doing any maintenance and running it on the bench. Up on the front end, covering the steering and the steering rack, you've got this nice little plate that comes off with what we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 screws or bolts, and that will protect and stop any dirt and stones getting into on top of the steering rack and all your mechanisms in there. There is vents and holes that go all the way through. I'm guessing that's for airflow. That's on both sides. There's quite a big opening, so you will get, if you're at full lock, you probably will get a bit of dirt and debris flinging up in there. But then on that other end, you've got exactly the same. So you've got some nice big holes both sides where the dirt, stones can be extracted, blown out, shook out, or even just the movement of the car will allow everything to flow back and out of the vehicle. You've also, there's, I don't know if we can see, let me try and get some light, there we go. You've got some vents here which are sort of moulded into the plastic. That's on both sides, again to allow venting, so you're not creating a like a parachute effect. The sidebars, or the tub chassis part on the sides, that's about 2 inches in height, and it's a nice, strong, sturdy plastic. That to me feels like armour quality. It's a real nice, sturdy plastic. And obviously you've got the same on the other side. Something I've not seen any reviewers mention, or any videos or pictures pointing this out, is on the 4 top corners of the tub chassis, the little nubs. I don't know what you want to call them. I would call them nubs, but they've got a hole that goes through. You can just see they're like a body post. My theory is, I'm just going on theory and hopes and dreams, that CEN are going to come out with a tub cover, or a net of some sort maybe, but hopefully a thin cover that will then body clip on, and that will stop any more dirt and debris being flung up, hitting the inside of the body and dropping down into this. Obviously you don't want any stones jamming up your shaft and causing any issues. I mentioned the back bit, the rear's diffuser, again that's a nice solid piece of kit, nice hard plastic. That's gonna give a lot of protection if you reverse into something. So yeah, shock towers, I don't actually know what, I'm not sure if they're plastic or metal, to be honest, at the moment. Metal shock towers, nothing special I don't think. Well, they look about 3 to 5 mil thick, Ali. One thing I do like is you've got 6 mounting positions on the shock towers. You've also got 2 holes on either side here, top and bottom. I would imagine you could jerry rig a different mounting system for the body, or even make your own mud guards. I've done it myself on a couple of other vehicles, and I know that Dan from Paddlesworth, he's done a couple of videos where he gets some angled aluminium across there, and then with a painter's bucket, the £1 1 litre painter's bucket, you cut them into the right shape, and they sit here and they just cover the wheels, and you've made your own fenders, wheel arches, mud guards. You could also do it on the rear, and that will also stop a lot of the stones flicking up and chipping the paint off the inside of the body. Something I learned early on in 10th Rally. I was wondering why the rear of the bodies were always losing paint, and that would be why. Where are we going to go next? Underneath. So, underside of the chassis, you can see it's hardly been run. You've got this weird kind of thin metal chassis, the chassis plate. I guess, let's not guess, let's get a ruler, let's get precise. I'm not going to get the digital calipers out for you, but we can give you an idea. So the chassis is about 55 mil wide. Plenty enough. I mean, these are not bashers. Some people have been bashing them, sort of taking up the skate parks, overvolting them and kicking the snot out of them. They're not for that. At the end of the day, it's a rally car. Drive it like a rally car, and you're going to have the biggest smile on the face you've ever had. And at the front of the chassis, you've got a kick up. Can I try and get that in show? Again, I'm not going to get a protractor out and give you the exact angle, but it's a nice, gentle kick up to allow you to go over some of the humps and the stones. And you've got the same on the rear as well. The rear has another kick up that comes out to a tail. It may be the same front and rear. No, there is definitely a difference. So you need to, if you're replacing the chassis, obviously it'll only go on one way. You've also got cutouts for all the differentials, the bulkheads and spur gear to make sure everything's located and locked in. Even if the screws back out a little bit, you're not going to get any wobble or much looseness. Everything's tied in nice and tidy, which again is another thing I like about these. I was quite impressed. The arms, so rather than traditionally the arm will come up and be straight so it comes to the hub carrier, these come up and then they kink to level off. So I just think that gives a nice transition. Nothing's poking out, nothing's going to get too damaged. It's all tucked away and everything's nice. A note on the arms are universal across this platform. So if you break one arm, buy a new packet, you get 2 per pack, and they are, each corner is exactly the same. You either got to go left or right or flip it to go front and rear. So there's only one arm that you need and it will replace any of them, which is nice. Don't really see that on many cars, I don't think. There are extra holes. Who knows what they're for? Maybe CEN will come out with something else on the same platform, but that's the side for the battery tray. The battery tray is held in with 2 bolts. It's a low profile one, so there's nothing that's going to catch on it and snap it and lift it. So 2 is more than enough for that style of battery tray. Where are we so far? There isn't really much to say. It sits, without a battery, it sits quite high, but then once, like I say, that, I believe that's nearly 400 grams, I think, about 380, that battery. Once that's on there with the body, it sits to a nice sort of 20 mil ride height, which for this scale is ideal for most rally cross, or even just hooning around to kill some tyres. Exactly the same as the WR8, which I keep referring it to. I know there's another small 8 scale or 8 scale rally car. I believe that's the Charisma. Oh, I can't remember the model number. FG40. No, I'm not even going to attempt to say what it is because I honestly can't remember. But from the reviews and pictures I've seen, it's not going to hold anything against these two. It's more of an entry level 8 scale, start there, upgrade it. It's not anything special than what I've seen. But again, if I get a chance to have a look or play with one, I will do a video comparison. Right, away with the WR8, back with the CEN. So we've gone over front and rear bumpers, arms, shock towers. Oh, the rear shocks can also be adjusted to the 6 positions, and you've got 2 options on the lower arms for mounting as well to give you different angles. So it's quite customizable out the box. We have camber adjustment, we've got toe adjustment, and on the rear we've also got rear camber. That's something which is a nice addition, so you can really set this up to handle how you like. The turnbuckles, they look like they are M3 thread, so not too beefy, but they should be absolutely fine for the intended purpose of these vehicles. Like I say, if you want something to jump and bash, this isn't the car for you. On the arms, the other thing is there's lots of vents, even though they are filled in and they are solid. They've got a little bit of flex, but they've got the vents that go in. Whether that's intended for more airflow or aero, I don't know, but they look really bloody cool. The wheels and tyres, let me just grab one. And I'll grab one of them as well for comparison. I'm back. So the road tyres for the WR8, these are obviously the Gymkhana Chem Block ones. These are slightly smaller than the CEN. So height, there's about 3 to 4 mil difference, and width on the wheels, where are we there? Sorry, I'm not really good in shot. They're about the same width. And I've got these ones here, which are AliExpress WR8 wheels. They're like the rally tread. Can't really see the tread, I should have cleaned them. They are the same as the CEN Racing, so that's nice. And I've got these as well, which are off the Armour Infraction 3S, and they are slightly taller. They are the same width, but they will fit. I've had some hexes made for me, and I've run them on my WR8, and they're a really nice tyre as an alternative. The other tyres are the WR8 rally blocks, and again they are exactly the same. The main difference is these have got a nice sort of sharp edge to them, so you'll dig in, and whereas the CENs, they're more of a curved edge, so you will slide nicely. Let's pop them back. Right, I'm going to try and do a little bit of dismantling. There's a few things internally that I was curious about and no one knew the answer, so hopefully I can answer it for you guys. What we're going to do is try and find the light. And we're going to expose the spur gear, because there's something a little bit magical in here. What I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll bring you back once I get the case off of there, and there was something else I needed to take off to show you, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we're back again. Bit of a camera change, stick it on my noggin. So the thing I was excited about when I cracked this thing open is you've got 32 pitch gearing. If I remember rightly, it's 14 tooth pinion with a 46 or 48 tooth spur, nylon spur. I think that's a steel pinion, but then you got a gap in there, nice little gap. What is that in the shape of? That is in the shape of a differential. So I'm guessing coming soon to the future will be a centre differential option for this, which I'm excited about. You've got the space there for the bearings, or for the back side of the bearing. Obviously the already one there on the front. It's just the shaft that goes from the input drive on the rear diff up to here, the input for the spur, the shaft that joins the rear diff to the centre shaft. That would need to be changed out to something hopefully coming soon from CEN. When I opened it, first of all, the mesh was a little bit on the loose side, and I've just noticed there that the pinion is loose. That's not good from CEN. So I need to take the motor out, lock tight that baby back in, but that's not good. Quality control, CEN, come on. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the cars. I can't think of anything else that needs to be spoken about. We're going to have a quick flick through the manual together. And one other thing, you got the KB, the CEN body. I've got no way of seeing if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Hopefully this is it and I don't have to remake all of this. So you've got your rear window stickers with Oitanak, and you've got your WRC 8 number 8s all over as well. They give you some stickers, some replacements for Lubel, number 7 WRC. So that's good, they give you an option. Alright, and then for the manual, we're just going to have a quick flick to go through. Obviously, all your normal stuff, how to plug everything in, what is what, radio, receiver. I'll go through the radio with you in a second. Not very impressed with it. You've also got a parts or an exploded diagrams throughout. And hopefully that light's not reflecting. Let's try there. It also has all the part numbers, the listed part numbers. I really wish all manufacturers would do this with their manuals. That is just, it's a really handy thing to have. Any sort of maintenance, what bearings go where, the shocks, how everything lays down. So you've got your O-ring, your shim, your O-ring, another shim, and then, oh no, that'd be your top hat that goes in to the cap. So everything there is nice and easy to understand. All your part numbers again, and it's all listed on where they need to go. So nice and easy. If you need to break into the car to get into the differential, for instance, you got all the different gearings, how they sit, the pin, the shim, the O-ring, the gasket. Everything's really nicely explained. And then also in the back, you've got all the parts that are available at the moment. So there you can see, hopefully you can see. I'm going to take the camera off my head and then I can focus in manually. There we go. So you've got your spur gear. That's saying 46 tooth, I was close. Pinions, 14. 3.1 millimeter bore. All the dog bones and the axles and the drive cups all listed. There's your left right arms with the spacers, so you can adjust the wheelbase as well on these, which is nice. Body post, bumpers, input gears, your gearbox, so your differential housings, bulkheads, O-ring sets, differential, all comes complete. The funky little chassis, all listed in there, so you can buy the wheels, the foams, no sorry, the wheels separately and then the tyres with the foam inserts. You in the box, in the little bag of goodies, you get 2 servo horns. What they do for you is they provide 3 in total, with a 23 tooth, a 24 tooth and a 25 tooth spline. So if you need to swap out the servo for one of your higher end or your super duper ones, they've even included the servo horn all ready to go in for you. Tells you about the motor. The exact motor is a 3658 size can, 3000 kV, 3S 100 amp ESC, This is all included, and you've got your body with your parts there. And the servo is a 12 kilo metal gear servo, and it's good that it's metal geared. 12 kilos is enough, but it could do with being a little bit quicker. And where we got your receiver box, and then all your screws and your fixtures and fittings in there. So it's quite a nice little manual that it comes with. Hopefully you could see all of that and there weren't no glare off the lights. Where are we now? Oh, you can really tell I'm not used to doing reviews. I've got nothing prepared. It's all just chuck everything on top of everything else. But like I say, with the ability to hopefully in the future add a centre differential, that's really nice. Get a little bit in there. Where did my little stick go? But it's a shame about that pinion being loose. I might even have to send an email about them, or CML, the distributor, and just warn them about that one. Where are we? There's the receiver box. So you got the wires going into the front. It's sort of a up and over design, and your wires, or your antenna comes out the top in pitch black. Turn the car around, that would have made sense. The antenna comes out. There's no real routing for it. It goes down, and you've obviously got your little tube there. Comes with all these fans. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, comes with a Dean style plug connector. Obviously if you cut that, you void the warranty. So what we recommend, can I do this one-handed? Pop you down for a second, guys. One of the adapter plugs that would go onto there. You can get them in all shapes, sizes, colours and flavours. I happen to run EC5s on my 3S batteries, so that goes straight onto there. Run your batteries, don't need to do any soldering or connecting, and it stops you from voiding the warranty. As I said before, it's a Hobbywing ESC, so program it exactly the same. You can refer to a Hobbywing manual, and it comes with a standard max 10 settings. So if you want a bit more punch or a bit more brake, you know how to do that. And I think tabletop review, that's pretty much it. Feel free to leave any comments or questions. I will try and answer them before I have to give the vehicle back. But like I said in the beginning, this is a friend's car. He's lent me to do a look, comparison, review, tabletop chat. Hope everything's been okay. I will see you guys trackside soon. Cheerio.